we've established that I'm a huge lover of science fiction. One of the greatest science fiction shows, only lasted like 14 episodes, and I think only like 11 of them aired, is Firefly. It's kind of, you know, even though I love Buffy and Angel, I think it's the most brilliant thing to come out of, you know, the Whedonverse. Nathan Fillion plays the captain, Malcolm Reynolds. So in the show, 5 years before the show starts place, a civil war ends, where the central planets are trying to unify the whole galaxy, and other planets are fighting for independence. Malcolm Reynolds and Zoe, his first officer, were on the losing side of that war. And so they become smugglers, just want to live outside the law, do their own thing. And they gather about them a crew. And there's a fan theory that each member of the crew represents a part of Malcolm that he lost in the war. So he's a staunch atheist, but during the war he was devout. So he has a book on there, Preacher, played by Ron Glass. Kaylee's his lost innocence. Like, it's just, you go into it and it really makes sense. He builds this community, this family, that remind him what it means to be human after he gave up everything, after he lost everything in the war, and the trauma that brings with you. I'm making the show sound a lot heavier than it is, though, because it's also like just a lot of fun. It's very much characters. It's you put these characters on a ship in the middle of nowhere, and you have them interact. And sometimes they'll interact with outside forces. I mean, every episode they're doing something, you know. Meanwhile, the other story is that this girl, River, played by Summer Lau, was experimented on by the Alliance and given psychic powers. So her brother Simon, kidnapped her and is now on the run. So the Alliance is after them. So there's Malcolm and Zoe, who are trying to just avoid the Alliance because they hate the Alliance and everything it stands for. There's River and Simon who are trying to avoid the Alliance because they're out to kill them. There's Book, the preacher, who just wants to explore and deliver the word. Then there's the mechanic, Kaylee, the most innocent, sweet person you'll ever meet. There's Jane, the mercenary who works for Malcolm Reynolds, who's kind of the muscle, even though Zoe's the muscle, so Jane's just kind of added muscle. And then there's Wash, the pilot and Zoe's husband. And 14 episodes are some of the most brilliant episodes of television you'll ever see. There's not a bad episode in the bunch. The reason I got canceled is because Fox aired the episodes out of order. They didn't like the pilot, the 2-hour episode Serenity, which is like one of the greatest pilots I've ever seen. How do you not like that episode? Fox likes to butcher things. It's what they do. So then there's a movie that takes place afterwards. And then Firefly is kind of the new Star Wars. Like, I'm an EU fan, so I love the extended universe of Star Wars. So you had the movies, and then you had the comics, and you had the books, and it was like an ever-expanding universe, hence the expanded universe. Firefly's doing that now. So you have the show, you have the movie, and then you have comic books that are expanding the story, and then you have novels that are expanding the story. And so far, they're all pretty great. I will say, it's just, I'm not overly enthused with the direction that the Boom comics are going. They kind of put Malcolm out to pasture, which I think was kind of a mistake. But they're still good books. They're still worth reading. I read them every month, and I mean, I am loving them. I wouldn't have made that choice. The Dark Horse stuff, though, is some of the best comics I've read in a long time. And the novels are really great. So, if you want to get into Star Wars, the Star Wars expanding, if you wish you would have gotten into the Star Wars expanding universe early, you can do it. There's still time to do it with Firefly. I mean, there's only like 7 books out and maybe 100, 200 comics. The time to get in is rapidly vanishing, if that's what you want to do. But there's still time. You should definitely check it out. At least check out the show. Until next time, I'm Jonathan. Give us legends.